Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 284 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble!
And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Take just a minute, if you would please, and click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube right now, share us out with your favorite cigar groups and your favorite people so they know we are live and they can join in the conversation as well. And speaking of conversation, join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking. Let us know what you're drinking. And we have a fantastic special guest coming on in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Justin, welcome to the left of me.
The left of you.
Actually, you're always to the left of me, just like
today,
another 4 feet over.
Far left. That's far east.
Yeah. So it's I know you're not a sports guy.
Oh.
But it's actually good that you're not a sports guy because
I'd probably be let down.
This week in Minnesota sports, so the baseball season started. And the Twins have not won a single game. The Twins are 0-4.
It's a great start.
Isn't it a great start? The Twins are 0-4. Now, the bright side for Raul and our other Yankee fans out there, the Yankees have not lost a game.
Okay.
And there's a little controversy over that. They have these new bats that are shaped differently, and it's causing like some controversy.
Interesting.
I haven't really decided where I land on the whole debate yet. I don't know yet. They're shaped differently though. So I don't know. According to, I guess, the letter of the rules, it's like not illegal. But
it's pushing limits.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I would be interested to talk to some other.
Find out if you get in trouble, right?
Yeah. The bright spot in Minnesota sports, the Timberwolves are doing very well over the last couple of weeks. And if anybody watched, Saturday's game, the Timberwolves and Detroit Pistons, major brawl.
Oh, really?
Between the players.
Wow.
I think in total, 4 players and both head coaches got ejected. And it's interesting because when that fight happened, it was like midway through the second quarter. And Timberwolves were down by a lot.
Oh, wow.
And they ended up winning the game by a lot. So whatever it was, I guess maybe caused a little spark or something. But Timberwolves had a good finish to that game on Saturday. And the Wild are just, they're terrible. And every time they talk about when Kaprizov's coming back and when Eriksson is coming back, it's like, they just keep pushing out the dates.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like, we'll just leave them out and let's wait till next
Move
season.
on next season.
We don't
Always
want
next
to,
year.
because if we put them back in too early, they're going to get injured worse. So let's just wait till next year, because we're not. I just don't see the playoffs being any kind of realistic scenario
Right.
for the Wild. Pardon me, everybody. So I think it's time to talk about this evening's Spirit of Mystery. And Spirit of Mystery brought to us by Postania Cigars. I'm so sorry. I got like something going on here that's making me cough. It's not the cigar smoke, it's something else. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. So normally, Raul would pour something for me from his vast selection of whiskeys at home. Raul is not in the studio tonight with us. We'll talk about that in a little while. But so again, like last time Raul wasn't here.
Yep.
I asked Justin you'll see some of them. There's more on the floor, kind of hidden behind the sign and
hidden
stuff.
gems down there.
But so I asked Justin, I just brought out the glass and said, hey, just pick something from my collection and pour it. And I went in the other room. And so I know this is one of the bottles behind me. I just don't know exactly which one it is.
See if he knows what he's got.
It smells like scotch. Did you take a picture of the one you? Okay. It smells like scotch, I think, but it's also, I don't know. Let's give it a little taste. Ooh, that was a big taste. Scotch.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. I like this. It's clean. It's clean. It's got good flavor. Not too funky, which I tend not to like scotches that are the really funky ones like Lagavulin and that kind of thing. So I will keep drinking this throughout the show.
Yeah.
Get some more thoughts in my head on what it might be. And we will reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery later in the show.
David Floyd says we need to put a picture of him behind us. Hopefully with clothes on, David. But
I don't know. Maybe sans clothes. Yeah. And then we just put put somebody's cigar brand sticker over.
Oh, there we go.
To cover the, bits and pieces.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We could definitely discuss possibilities for that.
I mean, we do need some stuff on our walls, so
that's true. Yeah. The bare wood, gets a little boring sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring on our fantastic special guest of the evening. And as always on How About That Cigar Live, special guests are brought to us by Drew Estate. And the new Freestyle Live event pack features a unique Dominican forward expression, marking a new chapter for Drew Estate by introducing a silky smooth blend that places Dominican tobaccos squarely in the spotlight. This Dominican forward blend brings together Drew Estate's signature premium sweet cap and the highest grade Connecticut shade wrapper leaf. With an MSRP of $40, the new FSL pack contains 4 unbranded mystery cigars, along with an FSL torch lighter, an exclusive FSL dog tag necklace, and a custom 10-count travel humidor. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and welcome back to How About That Cigar Live from Camacho Cigars, Jack Heyer. Welcome back, brother.
How many times have I done this show? 3 times now? I don't remember. Is this my second appearance?
I believe
certainly my second appearance as a Camacho representative. That's right. I wouldn't have done it in my previous life. Yeah. Because I would have sent you guys Pedro or Willie. That's exactly right.
Yeah, this is appearance number 2.
Yeah.
It feels like more. I mean, it feels like it's because our long sordid past together. That's what.
Well, I was thinking about that today too when I was putting together notes for the show. I was like, "Holy crap! we've known each other almost 10 years.
Yeah. It's certainly in our dojo days, 10
Yeah.
years, and in the flesh, at least what, 8, 9 now?
Well, we went to
2017?
Nicaragua in 2015.
16. Oh shit.
Yeah, November
That's right.
of 2015. So it's coming up on 10 years that we met in person, because we talked on Dojo all the time until
That's
we went
so
on that
nuts.
first cigar safari trip.
And
I know,
look at us
10
now.
years. And look at us now. Look at us now, just making it rain.
Shining beacons.
And doing as much pillaging as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's good. We'll get to that big segment.
Brand new segment. So brother, thank you for spending your Monday evening with us.
I'm so excited. This is a busy time of year, but it's a good time of year because we got stuff to talk about. I mean, there's stuff flying all around. It's like this is like when free agency starts in sports and you got just the news just pop, 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 pop. And not just Davidoff, everywhere. I mean, and I love gossiping. That's like my favorite thing. That's like the best part of the cigar business is like it's like a bunch of macho, like, yeah, we're manly men. It's like, did you hear? Oh my goodness. Did you hear about that? And the reps are like each of the reps have the latest.
Yeah.
That's the best.
It reminds me of the line from Pulp Fiction when Uma Thurman and John Travolta are sitting in the diner and she says, when you guys get together and talk, you're worse than a sewing circle.
Oh yeah. It's the exact same.
Yeah, it's the exact same in the cigar business. You are so right. There is so much gossip and like, oh my God, did you hear about that guy? Did you hear about the thing he said to the other guy? And did you see the cigar?
Especially at the show? I haven't been to a trade show in forever, Yeah. Did you hear about that guy, fell down the escalator? Oh, I can't wait. This is the best.
Yeah. So I think it'd be cool if we start there, because I actually had this question a little further down on my list, but it really works to go into it now. And the fact is that, Davidoff and the Davidoff family of brands, this is 4 years since
we haven't been since the last time Davidoff was at the show was 2019 because 2020 didn't happen. Yeah. And I remember I was working for Alec Bradley at the time and our booth was Caddy Corner and they had the crazy Taste the Elements. Like you walk through and there was a Yamasa room and an Escurio. And there was like a rainforest and a volcano. And I just remember being like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever.
Absolutely.
So now to be working at Davidoff, and the first trade show I went to was in 2015 in New Orleans. So to be working at Davidoff 10 years later and going back to the trade shows, like when I was 18 years old and I smoked a cigar, if I saw what was happening in my life now, I would never complain again. Yeah, I'm going to complain. It's my favorite thing to do, but I shouldn't. It's really awesome to go back. And PCA was really great in, welcoming us back with open arms and getting us situated. It's hard to put one of these things together in a shortened timeline, but I'm really excited to get back and, hang out with all of our retailers and the media and see everybody again. It's great.
So how's everything going with you guys and the whole team with the prep work? I know it's a lot of work,
there's
all going.
It's fun because a lot of our team is kind of newer to Davidoff, wasn't there for the last PCA. So there is, I wouldn't call it rust, but there's no like shared memory. It's not like we all did this last year and the year before and the year before and the year before. So it's nice to kind of, batten down the hatches and get ready and put everything together. And we have a really great team, both of our brand team and our events team, and the sales guys are awesome. So I'm just so excited, to go. And I have a really cute outfit this year, guys. It's really, really, chic and masculine and it's great. I'm excited.
We're gonna need pictures and videos.
Oh, you'll get some pictures.
We gotta share David Floyd's comment. And the quote from Ron Swanson: any dog under 50 pounds is a cat and cats are pointless. I like
You know, I have never had a dog that wasn't just like a giant Labrador Retriever. And this little thing, watch, come on. We got Bunda, or Bunny is her name, from Pet Finder, and she is just the cutest. Wait, look, she's just the cutest little thing. Say hi to How About That Cigars.
I
Say
love it.
hi.
I love it.
And I was the same way. I was like, you know, it's kind of pointless to have a dog that can't defend you from anything. But
Yeah.
she's just a fun little gal, and she sleeps all day long, and then she wakes up and terrorizes us for 20 minutes a day. But I agree with that take that, you know, she is kind of, as far as like a dog's ancestral purpose, she is somewhat pointless in that regard. But as a cute little like plaything, she's the best.
Oh, I love it.
And we live in a townhouse, so we don't have a yard. So this is the best option.
Yeah, I mean, townhome or an apartment, you wouldn't want like
you gotta walk her.
dog.
I mean, we walk her down the street and she's tired. So that's, as a lazy person, that is an ideal scenario. I can't have a dog that like I need to run. I can't run. I'm not running. But we grew up with like hunting dog, like real, you know, dogs that had jobs and stuff. And, you know, I think that I'd like to get her a friend, like a buddy cop situation where there's like the big dumb one and then she's the, like, you know, kind of like Pinky in the Brain vibes. But we'll see. You know, I need a yard first.
Yeah.
We got a question from Marcus here for you, Jack. Hey, Jack, do you think I'll get kicked out of the show for wearing my see-through Camacho pants?
We got to coordinate, Marcus. We can't wear our see-through Camacho pants at the same time. Okay.
The see-through Camacho pants. So is it,
that was one of our least successful GWP items. That one didn't go so good.
They're see-through except for the Camacho logo. Is it right on the butt or right on the?
Yeah,
right on
they're high-waisted, but they have the tramp stamp area cut out just for that purpose. That's
perfect.
And the R&D was quite expensive, and you know, it was a net loss, but those sort of things, you know, nobody remembers the third version of the iPhone. You got to kind of keep going.
Yeah, it's like Brad Pitt and Troy. That's why no one will remember you.
Exactly,
if you don't take,
because
you got to take those big chances.
Regular pants, like a fool.
So, you know, part of strategies for a lot of brands, going into the big trade show being PCA, and is launching new stuff and making the big announcements. So are there some cool things that are going to be announced and unveiled by all you guys at this PCA trade show?
Yeah, so we've already announced a couple of things, a couple limited editions, and we will have more announcements. For us, it's not a gangbusters year in that Davidoff on the whole, we like to take a more methodical approach to releases. We do a lot of limited edition stuff. So this year we have the Avo Synchro 10-year limited edition, which is 10 years, 2015 trade show. We had two big releases back then, and that was the Escurio, the Black Band, and the Avo Synchro, the first in the Synchro line. So we have limited editions for both of those this year that have already been announced, and they will already hit shelves before the trade show. And then we'll have a couple other things released afterwards. I'm so curious what my dog is doing. But as far as Davidoff is concerned, we're a global company, so all of our releases, happen over the entire world. So we don't put too much emphasis in just releasing something new for the show. And also, we have a kind of a longer runway in developing products. So it kind of isn't like when we had announced that we were coming back to the show, these cigars were already pretty much finalized. And that was, I don't know, I think it was like 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago we said we were coming back. Yeah. So for us, we're talking 2027 right now. So I think that in years future, maybe you'll see some stuff that's kind of forward, towards the front of the calendar for us. But just the way that Davidoff operates, we don't release a ton of core line every single year because we like to kind of keep our footprint the same. And I think that our retailers appreciate the consistency in our core lines where we're not really trying to just hot swap out a brand every single year. We want to release something and, it has some staying power. Especially that's true with Davidoff. There's not a lot of movement in the white band line in the last, X million years. And the Black Pillar being recent-ish. So we have some terrific blends. I mean, the Escurio 10 is coming out. I think that'll ship on the 3rd or the 10th of next month. And the Avo Synchro 10 is shipping right now and should be arriving in a couple of days. So those two, as far as cigars, the Avo Synchro 10 year is a Nicaraguan blend, but it is a diadema, a box press diadema, which we have not done before. And it's kind of a subtle box press. And it's a banger. When that one was kind of coming down the pike, I'm like, well, we'll see. A Nicaraguan blend from our factory is going to be great. But, when I think of Avo, I always think of these old school Dominican blends. And this one is just perfect. I'm like, we should just make this like a core line. And the Escurio 10, nobody has given me one. What the hell is this?
What the hell?
What the hell? You know what happened was I was out of the office. I was traveling. And then I came back and everyone was like, man, the box we took pictures of, we smoked it. It was amazing. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait. And they were like, you might have to wait. And I was like, you sons of guns. But that's, I'm the Camacho guy. I don't get to just take my tithe. And we will, in the William Cooper, no teaser, no spoiler segment, we may have some Camacho news coming on the near horizon.
Okay.
Maybe.
Nice.
Maybe.
Nice.
But I'm not going to loose lips sink ships and
loose lips
whatnot.
Sink ships. Eric, he did show the tattoo already. I'm sorry that you missed it.
We have to do just a pre-roll. It's like on the last episode. It's funny because it's a story. If people haven't heard the story, it was on the last episode, or it's been on most podcasts that I've told. But it's funny because it's one that I never mind telling. But as I've progressed in my professional career, now we don't have a hardcore Davidoff dress policy, but I like having my smoky cigar clothes that I wear to the office, and then my like regular clothes that I wear in my life. So I kind of wear I go like business cash to the office, and it is a different level of shame having to retuck in your dress shirt after showing a visitor your tramp stamp, having to hang on, get that out. All right, hold on, I gotta get this back in there, which is awesome. I really like it, and that's my new line is I want you to remember how much you respected me before this next part.
There you go.
I actually have I don't even think I've told this story on the podcast. This is a great story. I recently got a Baccarat tattoo. And the reason being that I had found that the easiest way to get a job at Davidoff, and this is just my experience, I don't know if this is for everybody, is if you get a tattoo of the logo of a brand, they kind of let you be in charge of the brand. So I was like, all right, last time it took like 5 years. We were down in Honduras doing a Camp Camacho, and I was like, you know what? I think I'll get a Baccarat tattoo. And I'll be in charge. I wanted to be the global czar of Baccarat. So I'm a dumb person as established. And I am not a gambler. Like I don't like games of chance. I like gambling on sports a little bit, but that's like $20, if I'm watching a game and I don't really have a rooting interest. But games of chance, it's like the one vice I just don't have. So the tattoo artist doesn't speak any English, and he goes, he shows me the phone like, hey, just show me the logo of it. And I had thought for months, I've been talking about and joking about doing this. I thought that Baccarat was a dice game. So I was looking up like dice tattoo. I was like, Baccarat logo. And it's like, oh, it's 2 cards. And it's a king and it's a 9. And I'm like, oh. So I don't know this tattoo artist. And I was the first one to go. I was like, I don't really want to take my chances on a face card, Like I don't want what if he's terrible at drawing stuff? and I just have like a king that looks, like a little like. So I was like, all right, well, I have no idea what Baccarat is. Yeah, I was like, I don't really know what Baccarat is, but there's this movie with God, what's his name? From Breaking Bad, the lawyer that also has his own show. The actor's name that was in Nobody. God, what is? How am I? Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk is in this movie, and it's the best movie. It's like an incredible action movie, and he has this awesome tattoo on his wrist of a 2 and a 7 off-suited, and he's like, "It's the worst hand you can be dealt." So I thought I was going to be badass and get like a Baccarat version of that tattoo. And I got kind of a floral girly version that my fiance described as kind of cute. And it's on a part of my leg that I'd have to take my pants off to show you guys. So I won't do that on the show. But I went back to our office, and our president at the time was like, yeah, we're going to need to see your tattoo. So first thing back in the office, I had to take my pants off and show my floral 7-2 Baccarat tattoo that is not, that's not the logo of Baccarat even. And as it turns out, I've never played Baccarat still to this day, but the goal is to get a 9.
Yeah, it's to get a 9.
And a face card is worth 0. So
a king 9 is a great Baccarat hand.
And a 7-2 is not that bad. So in an ass backwards, I call my life and career failing upwards. It's a perfect analogy. And then we hired my buddy, he's the best, Tom Zabard, and he's in charge of Baccarat now. So I'm not even the global czar of Baccarat after all of that.
Man, what a jip. You got screwed.
I know, but I do have a very dainty feminine playing card tattoo on my thigh, which,
So I got that going for
me. I'm 0 for 2 on Honduran tattoos.
Third time's a charm.
So the next time I have no choice but to succeed.
So that movie was called Nobody, wasn't it?
It's so good. If you haven't seen
that movie.
Because it's like John Wick. If John Wick wasn't like immortal, it's like he kind of gets his ass kicked a little bit, which I thought was great. I liked that.
Yeah. So you were talking about the kind of the way the brands, manage bringing new stuff out and stuff like that. And one of the first things that came to mind that really, I think really stands true specifically for, Davidoff, and then even more specifically kind of on the white label side of things, where it's such a storied, like classic luxury brand in the world of premium cigars. And it's almost like, it's almost like one of those brands that is so kind of iconic, you can mix it in there with, name another half dozen genuinely iconic brands in premium cigars, especially like in the luxury space. Sure. And Davidoff white labels in there. And it's almost like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
I'm going to say something that some people would consider like sacrilege, but there's only one other brand in my time in premium cigars that I have worked with that has been like this. And because they're the complete polar opposite ends of the spectrum. And Davidoff, and especially white label, is kind of like acid in that it has a built-in customer, and it is kind of a ship on a current that the more you try to do, it's almost like the real art is staying out of the way and just kind of like, it's like, it's going and it's good by itself. I mean, those are just two monstrous brands, and they couldn't do it in more opposite ways. And I think you see that now with Deadwood maybe also. And then you have some of your classic like Monte Cristo White and, Romeo and Julieta and just some of these brands. But Davidoff does it in a way that I think is very, 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 very difficult to replicate, in that, you have these cigars that are untouched for decades that are still, top of the class quality and, at a price that would seem crazy until you try it. And then you're like, well, yeah, I get it. All right, that's fair. And it's crazy. The day and age that we're in, in my time in cigars, prices have gotten a lot crazier. And Davidoff competes globally, I mean, I think that Davidoff's biggest competitor is probably Habanos globally, and their prices are astronomical. So, in the U.S., it's seen as an expensive cigar, and we do hear that. But globally, it's like, wow, those Davidoff, this is steal. It's like I'm only paying 36 or 27 for this cigar, and Habanos is charging, Lord knows what for their
200 for one cigar
rendition. So the Escurio is 37 a stick, which is a lot. I mean, it's a limited edition. That's a lot, and I'm sensitive to that. I was a cigar purchaser for a long time, and that's like 20% of the reason I'm doing what I do now. I was like, well, shit. I mean, I'm basically making my salary plus how much I'm smoking. I mean, that's not nothing. But it's Davidoff is a totally different animal than other places I've worked because the U.S. market is a big part of the global pie, but it is not all of the pie. Where like Davidoff can have a good year globally if the U.S. market is not through the roof. Where if any other company has a okay year, it's like crap. So it's very strange. Working at a place where the cigars are sold, pole to pole, it's very strange, but in a wonderful, beautiful way.
Oh yeah.
So on another note, how's everything going with Camp Camacho?
Camacho or Camp Camacho or both?
Both.
Camacho is the greatest place in the world to work. You get all of the perks of being a Davidoff employee, but you get to wear jeans and you get to go to cigar shops and just be a dude. And it is a brand that I enjoy living the vicariously through. And the more I smoke our stuff, I just keep drinking the Kool-Aid. And I think that our factory in Honduras is making the most consistent quality constructed cigars. I mean, it's bad because I have stopped being as adventurous as I used to be. So I think that is a bad thing. That I used to smoke everything when it came out. Now I could just kind of stay in my bubble a little bit. I think that it is not beneficial to me professionally, but personally, I'm living the dream. I mean, I'm smoking great cigars all day long in our portfolio. I mean, Camacho in and of itself encompasses every flavor profile. And then when you add Avo and Davidoff and even Zeno Nicaragua, I've gotten hooked on these, half Coronas. It's like tasting the rainbow. I got everything I need, but I do like to, I am missing, I got to venture out and smoke some new stuff. I'm partially excited for the show for that reason too. I was at the Big Smoke on this last Saturday. And I was like, can somebody go around and get me a bunch of cigars? I need to try some new stuff. I'm
absolutely
stuck in Camacho land. And Camp Camacho, we took a hiatus this year. We kind of reset. We've done the same version of the trip for a while. So we kind of did some beta testing last year. Me and my buddy Law went down a few weeks back to lovely Donley, Honduras. And we are going to launch a pretty incredible version of it next year. We do things a little bit differently where it's a smaller guest ratio on our trip and less of them. So, consumers that ask me, oh, how do I get to go? It's usually if your shop is a big supporter of ours, then you get to go. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing like a open call like in years past. But it is the nicest factory and the nicest guest house you'll stay at. I mean, I don't know if they'll let me go to the Davidoff factory ever because of my infamy in in Latin America. But it is the greatest trip, and our factory is a sight to behold. And Manuel and Patty, our team down there, and everybody is there. It's a well-oiled machine. I mean, you talk about Caribbean passion and Swiss precision, and Don Lee, it's no different.
Yeah, I've from the guys from Cigar Dojo and other people I know that have been there, they've loved it, and they said that you guys really do
We're going to be ramping it up. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective but purposeful in our trips because we don't have the capability to necessarily do 20, 30 trips or we're doing fewer but really trying to maximize. And it's the airport's far from Tegucigalpa to Donley, so we try to maximize our time down there.
Yeah,
but I like it.
Nice.
So
they got like Little Caesars in Donley. I was shocked the first time I went. They got Little Caesars. They got a Papa John's, Pizza Hut. I was like, wow, it's come a long way. I mean, the first time I went was 2017, 2018, and it's not. I mean, everybody's got iPhones. It's nice.
Nice.
No Tonya, but that's some Tonya, but not the same.
Well, I mean, it's like I think every country has their own. Like in Nicaragua, it's Tonya, and in Dominican, it's El Presidente.
Yeah. Salva Vida in Honduras, and it's not bad, but just like Tonya for me was a spiritual experience.
Tonya is like a it's a heavenly nectar. It's
like ambrosia, whatever the liquid form of ambrosia is, like what Paul Atreides drinks in the second Dune. If you have it stateside, it is horrible. But if you're down there, it's like, what is this luscious nectar?
I know.
My goodness.
And why did I just drink 13 of them?
Well, again, the water. I mean, I've been down to Central America a decent amount now, and the last time was the first time. I think I've been down there. I've been to Honduras 4 times. I've been to Nicaragua 5 times. The last time was the first time I didn't get the Montezuma's revenge. It was the first time I didn't get I just got this Caucasian suburban stomach. I'm not built like that. So this is the first time. So I was like, man, I'm just drinking beer because this is the only water that I know I can consume.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is, like, I'm drinking this stuff from a local brewery it's really low alcohol. So Antonia's kind of the same. And all those beers,
basically water. That's how they stayed alive during like the Middle Ages. It was just like, let's just cook the water. Let's just cook the water.
Exactly.
You don't want to,
because if you drink water, you're gonna die. So everybody drinks wine or beer or whiskey or mead or whatever the distilled or grog.
Yeah, I would have been a grog guy for sure. I don't even know what grog is, but I just know I would have made a mean grog.
I feel like grog is probably a mixture of like whatever leftover alcohol remnants they have mixed with like the guts and entrails of the animals that were slaughtered. And
but that's like that gives it the that rounds it out a little bit. That's what a nice grog is. And that's why like there's the I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit with my lack of beer knowledge. Randy Griggs would just faint. But like the Trappist ales where it's like monks that brew them. It's like, how do you get that job? Of all of the of all of the possible ways to serve the Lord, making just a mean Belgian beer, that's got to be just the greatest possible. Like, that's nice.
Now, I wonder if that's the greatest honor for a monk, or if that's like the lowly, like,
if that's like, dude, it's like, dude, this guy can't even read.
It's like, hey, what can this kid do? All right, send this kid to go make the beer.
Falling asleep while we're praying. We're gonna have him clean out the freaking cellars. Who knows? I got to think that's like, when people are trying to go to like the brewing college, it's like, it's got to be like the bros. They're like, all right, I want to serve the Lord, but like, I also want to make like a mean amber ale. I think that's 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think like also this just came to mind. So if you're thinking about like a monk, you think of names like Alistair or Aloysius. You don't think of a guy named Kyle,
Kevin.
Kevin. It's like
Dougie,
exactly. No, there's no monks named Matt. You know,
I think that there are now. I think that that's the thing, is that there's like I know
that's the weird thing.
I know a friar named just Jordan, like just Joe, and he's Capuchin. He wears the thing, just Jordan.
Okay.
I think we're gonna get some like Pope Braxton V someday. You know, it's like I think that's just how it's gonna go.
Right.
It's gonna be like, wow.
Someday there's gonna be a president,
Cooper, or whatever, you know, President Callie, or you know, whatever Lexi, whatever
President
some of the Luna
popular names are.
That is my favorite
welcome
thing.
Prime Minister JoJo.
Yeah,
that is my favorite thing. Is my algorithm serves me a lot of like fun and hip kids names, and they're like Bronwyn with like 9 Y's, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're naming an adult. Like, please, let's just pick a strong American name, 1 to 2 syllables. Matt, Justin, Jack. Let's just move on with our days. You know, like you're naming an adult. Give him a chance, or give him a crazy nickname, and then you call him that at home, and give the kid a chance on his first day of school to, you know.
Yeah, it's like
that's tough.
Justin, if your name was spelled like Juhstun.
yeah. What about Justinian Antony the Great?
There you go.
That's my name.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sicilian.
I like it. Yeah, let's get the T-shirts made. Like,
I mean,
now.
I like
Print
Cat
the
or Bill or a boy named Sue.
Pope Chad.
President Neo.
Hey, Pope Chad, dude, they're waiting for you to comment about.
I just picture Pete Davidson in the Pope outfit.
What?
It's like,
oh,
hey, what's
dude.
up? Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, dude, I was just praying. Give me a minute.
Yeah, like Neo. Like you don't expect you don't expect the Pope to just slowly look at you and go, "Whoa,
dude."
Whoa, dude.
That would be cool, like Chicken Joe as the Pope from Surf's Up. It could happen. We need it.
That's fantastic.
That's what the world needs now, a surfer bro Pope.
A surfer bro Pope and a monk named Kyle.
Monk named Kyle. That's a good. We had a band name earlier. That's a good album name right there.
Monk named
Surfer
Kyle.
Bro
Yes.
Pope and a monk named Kyle.
Fantastic. So this is kind of in line with what we're just kind of joking around here. And I mean, obviously the we talked a minute ago about the Davidoff, specifically the white label, but really Davidoff is known as, a luxury brand and premium cigars. But, with all the family of brands, as part of the group at Davidoff, we see a lot of times on cigar podcasts and cigar shows, whether we're watching or listening, and don't get us wrong, we love talking about kind of the science behind cigars and the wrapper binder filler and how to taste this and how to taste that. And it's all great. We really do appreciate all that. But at the same time, and I asked this question because we had Bob the Cigar Guy on the show last week. It was just friggin' hilarious.
The best.
Gosh, we love that man. And we asked him this, and I want to ask you the same thing. Do you feel like sometimes the cigar industry just takes itself too damn seriously?
100%. First of all, I've been saying this for years. First of all, nobody tells you what the tobacco is. They just tell you where it's from. That would be like, when people drink wine, they're like, oh, what is the grape? What region is the grape grown? What year was it harvested? That is like actual information, right? But we're not telling you oh, this is Corojo 98. It was grown in the Hamastron and it was from 2021. Nobody does, right? And so I think that for me personally, besides knowing the general country of origin to inform a kind of broad strokes opinion on the cigar, I think a lot of that discussion is kind of subjective and pointless. It's like not that it isn't great to know, but it's like, I mean, I was just in Honduras a few weeks ago, and I know very little about tobacco in the grand scheme of things, right? Especially when we're talking about like real deal, master blenders and people that actually have a say in making cigars. But we're down there, and he's like, yeah, this harvest, and then he points across, our agronomist points across the way and goes, that one, they're totally different. What's different about them? It's like, well, these ones just grew really quick and they had big giant leaves. These ones are a little bit slower and smaller, and we'll probably use these ones, for binder, those ones for hopefully wrapper. And it's just such a dynamic situation, and so much of the information does not make its way to consumers that I think that we waste a lot of time talking about the blends and the flavor, especially when, if you and I, all three of us, smoke the exact same cigar from the exact same box in the exact same moment, we're going to get general thoughts that are similar, but we're going to taste totally different things. I mean, the Ecuador, right. I don't think that the Camacho Ecuador is spicy at all. And when I hand it to people, they go, it is really spicy. I get a lot of pepper. And I'm like, you're wrong. I'm wrong. Who's wrong? And I think what's more important is, one, like, just construction, and two, like, do you individually like this? Like, do you like the cigar? And none of us know what we're talking about anyway. So, like, let's just enjoy it. And, we know because we've smoked a lot of stuff. Yeah. But, I don't speak Spanish well enough to really glean deep insights, or I don't have the time to move to, Honduras or Nicaragua or the DR for 4 to 6 months at the time. So that's why I really like being the Camacho guy, because, we're owned by Davidoff. We have these amazing systems and processes in place, ensuring that we're going to have a great cigar. Mm-hmm. So whenever I go out, I'm like, let's not waste time talking about, pH levels in soil. Just light this sucker up, grab a drink, and let's just have a nice night. And that's I do think that it is a beautiful art, and there's something sacred about tobacco. I do believe that. But, it's not that serious. And that's why I'll never be the Davidoff guy, because I'm like, look, it's not that it's made up, but we spend a lot of time talking about things where we don't know how long anything has been in there. And some companies, you don't know anything about the blend at all. Yeah. So it's like, well, what more information? If I know that this is a Honduran binder with a Honduran, filler, Dominican, and it's an Ecuadorian wrapper, it's like, okay, I think I know what that tastes like. But like, if we probably have some blends in the Davidoff portfolio that by country are pretty similar to like an LFD, for example. And if you smoke both, they would be nothing alike. So I agree with you that it's not that it's pointless, but there's better things to talk about.
I think we should. Yeah, I agree. It's about the percentage of focus, and real quick, side note, before we continue the topic we're on, I totally forgot to mention that Justin and I are smoking the Camacho broadleaf that I grabbed out of my humidor just before the show started. So, enjoying it like quite a bit, as always. So
isn't that blend kind of, so now I thought that blend was kind of weird in a good way, because it's not that strong. And when I saw it, I would have thought it would have been very strong, because it's dark and it is a broadleaf. So you're like, oh, a broadleaf. I'm going to get that kind of Connecticut River Valley Foundation, kind of that Liga Privada, like that real, and it's kind of like a nice, I say it's like I always say this wrong because I'm turning into my dad and I can't say things correctly. I always try to say it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but every single time I try to tell this analogy, I say it's like Little Red Riding Hood. But it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where it's not too spicy, it's not too sweet, it's not too strong, it's not too mild. Yep. I give people that, like, if people smoke Connecticut and they're like, well, what do you recommend that's stronger? And they hand them that, and it's like the second darkest wrapper that we have, and it's really a true medium.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. And some smokers out there, and this goes back to the subjectivity thing that you were talking about, is, because everybody's got different palates, and, it could depend on what you ate or drank that day or how you're feeling or whatever. But, some people are going to smoke a Camacho broadleaf, and especially if especially if they're newer to the cigar hobby, maybe let's say a year or less in the premium cigar hobby, they're going to see the color of that wrapper leaf and just mentally they're going to taste pepper and strength, even if it's not actually there.
Yeah. Well, that's the first that you smoke with your eyes first, That's the thing that I like the most is I take the band off the Corojo and I give it to anybody on earth. And they're like, ooh, if I handed them a Corojo, they'd be like, oh, I don't smoke strong cigars. I only smoke Connecticut's. And everybody smokes it and everybody loves it. But they see this red band and a lot of people get gravitated towards it because of that. But if everybody smoked a Corojo tomorrow, they'd be like, oh my God, I forgot that this is just a ridiculous blend. Yeah. But you see this, or the triple Maduro, you see this red or this black, and it's like, ooh, like, oh, I'm going to get knocked on my ass. And it's not that strong. Like you can really, most people, if you've smoked a handful of cigars and you know what you're doing, everything is within reach,
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know if we talked to you about this one last time you were on the show. And it's kind of the question of what you like to drink and eat with cigars that you think goes nicely together. What are your favorite combinations?
So my favorite thing, and it's so it's very few and far between these days, but the few places that I find where you can, not that I'm the biggest like steakhouse guy in the world, because I like making a steak at my house, but in any place where you can smoke a cigar and eat a nice meal at the same time. And there's only a handful of places that I've found that you can do both, and they're becoming fewer and further between. That's just the best. Yeah. I've become less of in my travels and to try to find more balance, I find myself drinking alcohol less and less and less, just because I'm all over, and every time you're someone's guest, they're very nice and hospitable and offer you a drink. I find myself going to like a diet Dr. Pepper, which is the least like pinky up thing possible. But if we're having like a cocktail, just like a Manhattan or something like that, and just like a steak and a cigar, there's a place in Houston, Blend Bar has the best like lamb lollipops on earth. And you can smoke a cigar at the bar or anywhere in there and have an incredible meal. There's a place in Dallas called Me Hands Chop House, which is like the nicest steakhouse. And it has an entire cigar lounge on the other side that's private. And anytime I find a place like that, I just like I get a little teary, and I just think like how awesome Frank Sinatra's life must have been. I'm like, you used to be able to do this just everywhere. You could do this on a plane at one point. Not that I'd want to go back. I really like Wi-Fi and TikTok, but I'm just saying certain things they hadn't really figured out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
TGI Fridays at Miami Airport is the top 5. I say that's the closest that us mortals can get to Mount Olympus. That is because you're inside and you're outside, and you're coming back you're either coming back from a long trip or you're about to go on a beautiful adventure. So you like, either way, it's like an oasis in the desert, or it's like your pregame for a trip. If you're ever in the Miami airport with an extended layover, the inside-outside TGI Fridays at the Miami airport.
Yeah, that is like the secret speakeasy door place that everybody in the cigar industry talks about. Is the TGI Fridays.
You'll run into somebody there most of the time if you go. And it's so funny because it is a degenerate thing to do. I don't like to smell like I've smoked a cigar in the last 10 minutes when I'm boarding a flight, because, like I've sat next to some stinky, like BO stinky people. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sure if I was like a mother with a child, I wouldn't want to sit next to like me after I smoked a cigar, but also the temptation is just too high.
I know.
Another Miami airport hack. It's my favorite cup of coffee on earth. An iced cafe con leche from Versailles or La Carreta. Great. And in the comments, if you guys know anywhere where you can eat a good meal and smoke a cigar, put them. Allison, they got rid of the cigar lounge in Del Frisco's. I'm pretty sure the last time I went, Del Frisco Denver cigar lounge is gone. last of a dying breed. I mean, we're losing these pillars of society
Yeah.
day by day.
Yeah. There was one that was famous up until like the year 2007 or 8 in Manhattan, and of course I don't remember the name of it by any stretch. But
we'll just call it Manhattan.
Herklotz was talking to us about it.
Yeah.
One of the times he was on the show, and it was one of those places that was just like famous. If you want a great steak and a cigar at the same time, there was one place in Manhattan that was, and it was open since like 1918 or something, and it closed in 2007 or 2008, somewhere in that neighborhood. And and don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of places to get great steak, all around the country. But yeah, I agree with you, Jack. That place where you
not that I like eating all that much while I'm smoking traditionally, but I just feel like I'm teleported back to there's a place called Junior's in Oklahoma City. One of the greatest places on the earth. Like the walls are like all red velvet. The owner's like 105, and he sits at the bar with his wife, and there's jazz music. And if you ask for a neat pour, they'll give you like 36 ounces of whiskey, and you're like, where am I? Is this heaven? No, it's Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's so great. I love it. So yeah, I mean, 2025 is shaping up to be an exciting year, for you guys. And it's, things are looking pretty good. We're sad as far as how about that cigar, the fact that we're not going to be able to attend the PCA trade show in New Orleans, but
I'm certain we'll see you guys next year. We'll make it happen. It's New Orleans. We'll see how it goes. The last time there was just the smoking ban, but the PCA has done a really great job in recent years, and it's in April, not July. The last time I went, I've never been so hot in my entire life. So, we're optimistic, and we'll make it happen. We're excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And we've got, a lot of great friends in cigar media that are going to be doing some incredible coverage. So we can't wait to see what they're going to.
It will be thoroughly covered.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the complaints, the coverage of the complaints about the coverage. And I always love intermedia, infighting. So I'm excited. There's always a where is the line in media? When is media not media? Like if you don't have a website, are you media? If you don't have a podcast, are you media? Can you be media and only be on Instagram? I think my rule is as long as you're not annoying. Yeah, as long as you're not annoying, I think that you're media. As soon as you're annoying, you're not media anymore. That's how I classify it.
Yeah, I actually like that. We'll say the no jackass rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say I was very guilty of this. For the first time I went to the trade show, I think I just turned 21 or 22. And I was like, I thought it was more like a kind of Great American Beer Fest trade show and less of a sales trade show. So not that I was a total jackass on the show floor, but I just remember I'd never had Cuban coffee before. And I thought Eric Espinosa Jr., I thought that he was just giving me a sample size of coffee. So I was like, oh, I'm just getting little taster, like they would give you at a,
yeah.
And Hector Alfonso, God bless him, he was sitting next to me. And I think that there was an hour and a half stretch where I did not breathe. I was talking just in a direct stream of consciousness. I'm like, this is great, man. I haven't been to New Orleans. This is great. This food is really rich. It's good. It's delicious. And I think it took about 6 years for Hector to forgive me for that. But now being on the other side, it's like you're at a company. You've invested a lot in this show. And it's like, Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. You have to go there and there has to be fruits, you have to sell cigars, you have to make connections, you have to get new accounts, and you have to, make sure your brands are represented and covered. So, from that aspect, the looky-loos or the, sample hawks is annoying, but with, it comes with the territory. If nobody wants, if you're boring, nobody wants to cover you or talk to you or buy your cigars anyway. So,
well, I like Steve Saka's take on this. He mentioned it on because he mentioned it on somebody's cigar podcast. I don't think it was ours. I think it was on one of Coop's shows. But he said, as far as the question of what if media comes by your booth and is asking for samples? Saka's like, I can say no.
yeah,
I'm a grown ass man. I can say no.
Yeah. Right.
And I kind of
and
think,
just like maybe just like give him a cigar. Who cares? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And if you've got an extra cigar and you feel like giving it to him, give it to him. But there was definitely some shady stuff that happened with a couple of bad actors, like way back in 2010 or 2011 at the trade show, that were calling themselves cigar media and were literally like going through booths and grabbing handfuls of cigars and stuffing them in their backpacks all day long.
100%. Yeah. And that
doesn't really happen anymore.
I know we have these like Davidoff accessories that I'm like, we have to like staple them down because people will. I mean, at Drew Estate, when they would do the I remember TPE, afterward, all the cigars would be literally like glued into the boxes. So they're dead. They're not real cigars. They're not like smokable samples. And afterwards, they would just rip the tops off the boxes and they would throw them in the aisle for the trade show. Staff would clean it up.
Yeah.
And people would go like zombies and try to take them out of. I'm like, you guys, those aren't even.
We saw people
the dead boxes.
The boxes were like, you can't smoke those cigars.
I mean, maybe that's like good,
all over them.
Maybe that's like good kindling for a fire. I kind of like that idea. I have said that when I die, I'm going to have quite a cigar collection, and I don't want my family or anybody to have any of them. I want to put them all in and get cremated with every cigar, just like one last Viking funeral smoke. And I would hope that if I have children that they wouldn't respect that wish and they'd be like, you're dead. Who cares? We're smoking your stuff. But, wouldn't that be nice? Just throw a couple boxes, just like,
yes,
just like one last cigar before he goes.
Absolutely. So Justin, do you think it's
about 9:30?
You think it's time?
Yeah, it's time.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, Numero de los Muertos. You know it, you love it. Everyone's favorite segment of the week. So the number this week, on average, in the United States, between 120 and 140 people die every year from this. So, Jack, if you remember this game, along with Justin and all our viewers, can throw up some guesses. Just play 20 questions, break it down. What was the cause or location or whatever of approximately 120 to 140 people every year in the United States?
David Floyd says fireworks.
It is not fireworks.
I feel like slipping on ice or so, like falling out of the bed. But actually, that might be higher. Like little old ladies, you crack a hip, you might not come back from that.
Yeah, it's not that. But I would guess, that number's higher.
Is it on land?
It is
water.
It's I'll say both, but mostly land.
Are automobiles involved?
Again, automobiles. It's possible that automobiles are involved in a couple, but it's not a direct contributing factor.
Animals involved.
See, this is okay. You guys are going to hate me, but this is another one of those. Animals can be involved, but it's not. I guess part of it is more a location.
Okay.
But it's also like it's a specific
quicksand.
No, it's not quicksand. Actually, when we were kids, I thought quicksand was going to be such a big deal, and so
they made it seem like it was like stop, drop, and roll. If you get in quicksand, you're like, okay, great. Like, if your car goes underwater, like these things that you think that would happen all the time.
I haven't seen any quicksand in my whole life.
I don't even think it's real. I'm a quicksand truther.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on the whole quicksand,
The
lore.
big quicksand had us scared for our life.
Sons of bitches.
The quicksand lobby.
Yeah.
Asphyxiation.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's way higher. That number's got to be way higher.
Way higher. Way higher.
Ice pick to the eye.
Not ice pick. This is a particular, I'll say it's a particular type of recreational activity across the United States. I mean, people do it all over the world, but these numbers are specifically from the United States.
A sport or recreational activity?
Skiing, no. Skiing.
Activity. Skiing, we did that last week. We did skiing.
How many was skiing?
Was it like 2,000 per year on average or so? I don't remember the number, but it was high.
Skiing, I remember growing up in Colorado, like people would just come from Texas, slap on a pair of jeans, and just like go to the they would just go to the top of a mountain and be like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." I'm like, "Are you insane?"
Right.
What automobiles or animals are involved? Like drag racing?
I mean, they can be, but this is more. Yeah, it's. Animals can be involved in some cases. Automobiles, I'd say, is if they're involved at all, it's ultra rare for this particular type of death.
Death by hay bale.
Death by hay bale. That's a new. No, it's not that, but that's
add that to the list.
Kicked in the head by
a horse. No, I think we did deaths by horse sometime within the last year or two, and it could be. Yeah, boulders falling in your car. Not hunting, not I mean, could be. I mean, falling into a rock. I'm going to go with quarry. I don't think you mean query, but I appreciate this fast typing. I know autocorrect can be a bitch sometimes.
What is recreational?
Not really, but I mean, some people are on the right track. It's not pickleball.
Okay.
Not wild boars.
Anything to do with national parks?
It does have something to do with national parks. Not Yellowstone specifically. Not geysers. I mean,
okay, we're on the right. We're kind of in the right.
We're on the right track. I mean,
we're thinking
like an ice pick.
Thomas, is this another anal thing? No, it's not. I mean, if you want it to be.
Anything is another anal thing if you're if you're brave enough.
You try hard enough.
Subscribe to the How About That Cigar OnlyFans.
On the Patreon.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
rock climbing.
Andrew, I'm gonna sort of give it to Andrew. Death by National Park. So here's the stat. So the National Park Service reports an average of 120 to 140 deaths per year in national parks, not including suicides. So, and this could be anything from falling,
getting lost,
falling down a rock face when you're hiking. It could be, getting.
Yeah, I would think it would be higher almost. You feel like people all the time are like just hiking into the middle of nowhere and just hoping for the best.
So here's the breakdown of the causes. So unintentional deaths, including drowning, motor vehicle crashes, and falls, account for a significant portion of deaths. Drowning is the leading cause of death in national parks, accounting for about 33% of all fatalities. Falls are another significant cause, especially in areas like the Grand Canyon, which makes a lot of sense. Medical deaths, what is a medical death? I mean, it's
just like a heart attack, just like
or something.
Yeah, medical deaths account for 22% of all reported deaths, with about half occurring during physical activity. So yeah, probably too strenuous of a hike for somebody not in the best shape. And
if we're kind of keeping track.
Yeah.
They didn't get enough water.
Yeah. And this stat is dark, but I feel like I shouldn't read it, but I don't know. It says, I'm not going to read that stat. It's too dark. It's too dark. I'm not going there. Moose. So David Floyd says moose kill more people than bears. Yeah, that's probably true. I think that is true, actually. Bears don't really, there's not a lot of people
They spend a
don't
lot
like
of time
it.
sleeping. That's not a bad.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sleeping for 4 months? How long do they sleep for? Is it 4 months?
About
Maybe
that?
longer.
Yeah. Well, and
God.
yeah, Tony says petting the fluffy cows in Yellowstone. There are so many videos out there of idiots getting out of their cars and walking up to a buffalo or a bear or a wolf or an elk or something in these national parks. Like, oh, take my picture. Oh, I'm dead. It's like, what did you think was going to happen?
We went up to Yellowstone. We had our annual company meeting up there, and like the wolves that they reintroduced, that's a tough life. They're dying left and right, and they're tracking them. There's like an Excel sheet. This is why I've always been pro zoo, because imagine Louis C.K. had a bit about like if you were on your way, like on your commute to work, and you had to just kill something and eat it every day, how bad that would suck. Like you're running late for the subway and you just have to like, gah, gah. If you're at a zoo and you're like a carnivore, how nice. It would be so nice to just like, oh, this lovely white woman is about to bring me just a bunch of steak. What a great day. Yeah. Like I would have had to be hungry all the time. I would have had to kill shit. People brush my teeth for me here. Look, you get a little bit less, room to run around maybe, but I think 9 out of 10 animals are good with that arrangement.
Yeah.
If you had to.
They're like, oh, all right. If I'm actually living out in the wild, and I've got to chase down, a smaller animal that's lower on the food chain than I am, that's a lot of work and that's a lot of calories. But soccer moms in national parks are really easy to catch.
Exactly.
They're really easy.
I mean, imagine being like a gazelle and just being like, oh man, thank God I don't have to run. Oh, I can just breathe this grass right here. I can just hang out.
Yeah.
Hang out with my friends all day. None of us are dying. Like that's like being in Vietnam. If you're just a wild gazelle, you're just losing. Like, no, Johnny. And then you get to go to the zoo, and you're just like, oh, amazing! I just get to hang out. This is great.
Well, I
very pro zoo.
Allison says bears kill more little dogs than that, and that makes absolute sense to me. I would not bring, because we have
nobody.
I wouldn't bring either. Oh, I wouldn't bring either of. So we have two dogs. We have Oscar, who's about 80 pounds, 90 pounds, lab pit bull mix. And then we have Ruby, who's about 25 pounds.
But she thinks that she's like double that.
Yeah, she thinks she's twice that big, and she's a Cavapoo, so she's just a little cute, fluffy thing. I wouldn't bring either of those animals to a national park.
No, leave them at home.
There's no way. Yeah, that's because they're just gonna get eaten.
I make a point on shows like this to never ask people about their dogs. That's a founding principle of mine.
Yes. Yeah, if anybody watching or listening has not seen, so Jack had an unfortunate moment of being ill-informed and on one of the Cigar Dojo shows years ago, and there's some fantastic, sad yet hilarious footage.
I'll post it in the comments of this when we get out.
Let's do that.
You got to see that. It's it's one of those moments that. We've all been through a moment like that.
I never ask people about their grandparents or their dogs. You tell me. You tell me about your grandparents or your parents or whatever. I'm not asking. I'll figure that out. I've learned the hard way too many times.
All right. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. Okay, it is time for the lightning round. And Jack, you get some fresh, new lightning round questions since you've been on the show before.
That's good. I have the memory of a goldfish, so you could have ran them right back.
We could ask you all the same questions, and we might even get different answers.
100%.
I know for a fact you had the hear the thoughts of blah 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 question. I think you had the fast food question. Mm-hmm. I know you had the zombie question.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's go let's go down the list a little bit. All right. If you were suddenly a billionaire, what would be the first unnecessary extravagance you would spend some money on?
I'd buy the Colorado Rockies and save them. I would save them from the pit of misery. I think I would have to be. I think the price of sports teams is a little bit higher, so I'd have to probably be a multi-billionaire. But that would be. I don't think that I would really. I don't really care about like having the biggest house or like the craziest car. But if I could just, get the Rockies a decent roster, I think that it would heal my ancestral pain that they have caused.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I'm name dropping here, but I haven't seen him in years, but I know one of the relief pitchers for the Rockies and his family. Currently, yeah.
Who is it? I don't follow him as much. We kind of had a messy divorce.
So he just got called up last year. He finished out the season very late in the season last year. He got his first major league strikeout. He got his first major league save, and he made the full season roster this year. His name's Seth Halverson. He's a right-handed reliever. He and his family were here in Minnesota for a number of years, and so my family and I got to know them really well. I've known him since he was like 8 years old, and he went to Mizzou for a little while.
They have the best stadium, and it's not unlike the Twins have put together some pretty competitive rosters of late.
No. The Twins started the season 0-4. I don't want to. Nope, we're not.
They're trying.
I'm wearing my St. Paul Saints minor league hat tonight because I cannot bring myself to wear a Twins hat.
Oh, they're trying.
Are they though? They don't have the Rockies those big like the Yankees do.
So I have opinions on that. Are you guys F1 guys, or at least loosely track F1-ish?
Sometimes,
yeah.
Like years ago, Mercedes had this steering system.
It was like making.
It was called the DAW or something that, where they could literally move their tires in and out a little bit, and they just found a provision in the rules and they exploited it, and it wasn't like I wouldn't say I'm a Yankees hater. I don't like to see them win because I never root for the team that's won everything forever. But I have no choice but to respect finding and who doesn't like dingers? If we have more home runs in the league, I saw players already switching to that bat right now. So pitchers are so damn good these days.
There's even some guys on the Twins roster that are using those bats.
I saw that. So I saw that.
The Twins are 0-4. So,
it's early, long season.
You still have to be a good hitter.
Well, that was always the big Barry Bonds thing. It's like no amount of steroids,
Yeah, you still have to be a good hitter.
The ball's hitting the bat every time.
Now, do I, and we're getting off on a rabbit hole here, but I really don't care. But do I think that Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame? No, I don't.
See, I think he's got his time.
He's still the best home run hitter of all time. But do I think he should be in the Hall of Fame? No, I don't. Because one of the best hitters of all time, and I know there's more to it than this, but Pete Rose never made it to the Hall of Fame. That's true. Probably never will. And I think that the argument, like Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, I don't think they should be in the Hall of Fame.
I think I don't know. I think you put them in. It was just like for the era that they were in, everybody was doing it, and good, bad, or ugly. That's true. In the 60s and 70s, everybody was on greenies and amphetamines and all this sort of stuff. And the Mets won a World Series on cocaine. It's like, what are we going to take the World Series away? It's like, I think that the only reason I could see, so when I think Pete Rose, the manager, I would take issue with that. He was gambling on the Reds while he was the manager of the Reds. And people would say, well, you always bet on them to win. But if you're the manager, you can pitch all your best relievers the game you bet on them and then tomorrow not. But Pete Rose, the player, should have been let in. And the fact that he passed away, not in the Hall of Fame, I think is a great travesty. But if I were I running for president, one of the things on my ballot, on my my presidential promises would be that I think that the best hitter of all time should be in the Hall of Fame. Well, who knows if he'll be the best hitter of all time when some of these guys that are playing right now get through. But I mean, it's you can't tell the story of baseball without him. So put him in and put an asterisk on it or whatever. But, get the guy in there.
Yeah.
So, Jack, what's the worst haircut that you've ever had?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
I wish we had pictures,
I actually have
if you've got a picture you can share. That would be fantastic.
I have this was pretty recently. So I go through this thing right now. My hair's like shortish, and I'm gonna get a little touch up before the show. But I go through this thing where I was convinced that both my grandfathers were bald at like 22. So I always am like living on borrowed time. I'm like, one of these days. And my dad tells me tomorrow's not promised, Jack. Like, enjoy it while you got it. So I was kind of going for like a longer hair thing for a good, 6, 7, 8 months recently. And I kind of was like, yeah, I trust you, man. I want to kind of do and I got what I can only describe was exactly Lord Farquaad's haircut. And it was so rough that I had to go. I got a haircut on Friday. And I had to get a haircut on Saturday. I think it was November. Let's see. I'm getting
got
close.
the Snow White?
9,000. Dude, it was so bad. I'm getting close.
Oh man.
It was literally Lord Farquaad.
Oh.
Here we go. This is a no shit. Like a real This was November of last year.
Dude, that doesn't even
so
look
bad.
like you.
I had earmuffs. And I was trying to go for what I discovered is what doesn't work? When you go into like a barbershop and you just show a picture of like an incredibly handsome guy. And it's like, well, that's just a handsome guy. Like my dumb face it's not the same thing. Like if you put that Lego piece on my head, it's not going to work because that guy is just a gorgeous man. So that's what I found out is like, just find somebody that's good at cutting hair and just be like, do you think I can do this? And if they say no, just be like, give me what you think I can accomplish. Because then I literally had hair earmuffs.
Now, honestly, Jack, if you would have stuck with that and let it keep growing, you would have had like the late 90s Scott Stapp from Creed.
See, I was kind of I was thinking that I could do like a Bradley Cooper, kind of like but it just, it didn't happen. And it's, I'm not saying it'll never happen, but like, I just had to cut my losses. But it was unfortunate. That was pretty tough. Like I would say you made the right move, shifting away from that look. Well, and when you kind of, I'm a huge, I won't say the word, but I'm a huge coward maybe. And like, when they turn you around and it's a bad haircut and you just have like tears in your eyes and you're like, yeah, that's really good. And to make matters worse, I couldn't just go back to the same guy. I had to move. I had to just go to a different barbershop now because I can't face the, hey man, you really screwed me up that last time. I don't know if I can do this.
All right. So I'm going to embarrass the shit out of myself on the air right now, but I really don't care. I'm putting this up to the camera. You want to see a bad haircut?
Screenshots. I need screenshots. I disagree. You look awesome. That is awesome.
I've got the Night Ranger t-shirt,
dude.
I've got the high tops with the tongues out. I've got the acid wash jeans. I've got the mullet.
I knew you were a cool dude, but like that is. There's currently hockey players in Minnesota that are in high school that have that exact same thing going on right now.
Yeah,
it's gone full cycle. The Minnesota hockey hair is one of my favorite.
Minnesota hockey hair is legendary. Although I will say this year the tournament's over, but this year there was a slightly disturbing trend with the hair. And my kids have told me about this. There's a new thing that the kids are using the term ice cream scoop hair. where it looks like it's basically they put a bowl over it and then they fluff the rest out so it looks like the sort of twirls coming off the bottom of an ice cream scoop. I miss the mullet days of
I mean that was my favorite. I couldn't tell you one thing about the tournament itself, but I would watch the YouTube video every year like it was my March Madness. I mean, because if people are not familiar with the hockey hair recaps, it is like must-see TV.
Yeah,
incredible.
Let's jump into this week's notable smokable. So Jack, you talked about it a few minutes ago that you're kind of sticking in as far as stuff that you smoke on a regular basis. Obviously, you're sticking within the Davidoff and Camacho and other brands under the Davidoff umbrella, but anything recently that you smoked from outside of the portfolio that kind of stood out to you a little bit?
Yeah, so somebody gave me the H. Upman 80th.
Oh yeah.
And that thing, I felt like I smoked it for like 4 hours. That is a really, really good smoke. I've always been a big Espinosa fan, so I was super late to the game with the knuckle sandwich chiz. Enjoyed both of those. I'm trying to think what else I've smoked lately that's been like new. Give me a sec. You guys go, and then I'll think of something.
What's Justy? What's your notable?
Today I was had to take a little drive and get some fresh air today, and I was smoking a Espinosa L'Orange Oscuro.
Oh, nice.
That was
classic.
Yeah,
so good.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was yesterday, and grabbed one out of my humidor that it's not super old. It's a couple of years old because they've done a few additional production runs of this one. But there's that Stogie's World Class in Houston, that does the Lancero collections and stuff. And it was one of the Neanderthal, the Romacraft Neanderthal H-Town Lanceros. And I mean that I like the Neanderthals a lot anyway, but just something about that in that Lancero, it's just it's yummy and super easy to smoke. And I'm one of those people that's like, okay, people say, oh, the Neanderthal is such a strong cigar. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's got a little power to it, but it's not like strong to me.
I haven't smoked anything in a while, and I'm not like a hardo. Like I'm not like I've got nothing strong for me. But I haven't smoked too many things in recent memory that has like knocked me on my ass.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Jack, but I don't really want to. I don't want a cigar where I'm going to feel nauseated when I'm done smoking.
I think it'd be nice for the novelty of it, but I also have I've been experimenting with different forms of nicotine. And I've been gifted like some crazy nicotine pouches from like Sweden where they really fucked up. And I realized that I like nicotine just one way, just a gentle little cigar smoke, because some of these Europeans are doing shit. I have a whole different respect for Europe because the nicotine pouches that the Swedes are doing, it's unbelievable. They're Swedish people and like people from Greece, I think they're just called Greeks, are putting down like 30 milligram nicotine pouches at like 6 a.m. I'm like, I don't know. It made me rethink. Like, I thought that we were like #1 military, everything in the world. I'm like, I don't know if we could survive some of these pouches that these guys are doing. Our market, we're doing like 3 milligram pouches. They have 37 milligram pouches, and people are just popping them in and driving Uber. Brother. It's unbelievable what they can. The tolerance is unbelievable.
I don't think I'd make it through that.
I
honestly
would die. I did a 15 once, and I thought that I was going to meet Jesus. I can't even imagine. I
got to go back because I totally forgot to do the reveal.
Well, let's do that
for this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postani Cigars. So down to the last couple sips here of this week's Spirit of Mystery, and so it's a Scotch. It's milder. It's lighter. I've got back behind me, including all the bottles, I think there's. I'm trying not to look back there and give myself like hints, but I'm thinking there's five different scotches, maybe 6 behind me.
So you got a chance.
I'm pretty sure that this is because it's good and it's clean and bright but it's mild. So I'm thinking it's that Glenkinchie. Glenkinchie. I think it's 12 year.
No.
Oh crap! See,
No.
I failed. Even with only 6 bottles to choose from, I still couldn't get it. All right, if it's not the Glenkinchie, then it's probably the Macallan.
Nope.
What?
Yep.
Well, I don't think it's the Highland Park.
Nope.
It's not the Balvenie, is it?
Nope.
Which one am I missing? Oh, Glenfiddich. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought this was Macallan. I'm so sorry. I thought this was Macallan. Yeah, Glenfiddich. All right.
There we
Glenfiddich
go.
14.
Let me zoom that. Boom.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
One day you'll get it.
I've only in so many, how many years I've only guessed like 4 correct ever. So it's not easy to guess these, but I'm just making excuses at this point. And I'll, a shout out and a huge thank you to Luciano Morales from Luciano Cigars, because this bottle is courtesy of him.
Thanks.
So thank you for that,
Luciano.
brother. Sorry I didn't pick it, but what are you gonna do?
But I appreciated it.
But I do appreciate it. All right, some coming attractions on the next few weeks on How About That Cigar Live. Next week on April 7th. Holy crap, it's April already. Next week.
What the hell?
Actually, it's April tomorrow.
Make sure you get your taxes done.
Yeah, get your taxes
And
done.
by the way,
filing.
guys, let's keep sharp tomorrow. All right, we're going to see a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
Let's wake
Yeah.
up. Let's remember what's going on. That person's probably not dead. Your favorite player didn't get traded. Let's keep eyes up at the office. I hate that. I hate getting pranked.
Yeah, believe nothing.
So
believe
let's
nothing tomorrow. So next Monday night on April 7th, none other than John Carney from Bentley
Oh, baby.
Tobacco. He's been on the show a few times before, previously with La Florida Dominicana.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they got there.
Yeah, excited to hear about all that. And to let everybody know, April 14th, which is the following Monday, no show. We will not have a show on April 14th because
why is that?
it's my wife's birthday, and that's more important.
You're a smart man.
So,
very important birthday.
yes.
So.
And then following that up on April 21st, this is going to be exciting because we cannot be at the PCA trade show this year. I wanted to get some people who we know we can trust to give us the true story about the good, the bad, and the ugly from the 2025 PCA trade show. So we have from Cigar Press Magazine, Fred Rui, and from Cigar Dojo, we have Erica Tormson and Robbie Raz coming on to the show. All 3 of those gentlemen will be joining us to give us the good, the bad, and the ugly from the 2025 PCA trade show. And we cannot wait to hear from them about all of that. Jack, if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Davidoff and Camacho and Avo and everyone from the Davidoff family of brands?
Yeah, just go to Instagram. Davidoff Cigars, Camacho Cigars, Avo Cigars, Zeno Cigars, you name it. We got it. My Instagram is at Jack's Cigar Burner because of international law. I'm not Camacho Jack. But follow me. Whatever. I'm going to do some cool stuff. I got Meta Ray-Bans, so I'm having fun posting stuff.
Love it. Fun. Love it. Well, Jack, and I would be remiss, and I talked to him before we went on the show tonight. So Raul Ramos, he's the co-host here at How About That Cigar Live. he's not on the show tonight. And I talked to him about it this morning when he called me. We texted a few times, and I wanted to make sure it was okay with him before I shared this. The reason he's not on the show this evening, unfortunately, his mother passed away this morning. So he and his family are on their way to New York to make arrangements and do all that needs to be done for that. So I asked him, and he said it would be okay to share that this evening. So we ask all of our viewers and listeners out there, whatever it is you do to support people in times like this, if you're someone who prays, then please say a prayer for that family. If you're someone who sends happy thoughts, please, send good thoughts to that family during this time. Whatever it is you do, to support families in a time like this, please do that. And, we wish them and their family all the best during this difficult time. We send our condolences, our love, our prayers, and all of the above. Brother, we love you and can't wait to see you back here in the studio. But, take all the time you need with your family. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to make sure and mention that on the show. But it's been a fantastic evening spending it with Jack from Camacho and Davidoff. And Jack, brother, it's always one of our favorite shows. This is
just the nicest. It doesn't even feel like we did. It was like it felt like it was 15 minutes. Come on.
No, you're honestly one of our favorite people in the industry, Jack, because you are one of those voices that, that's why we asked the question earlier about, the cigar industry being too serious. You're one of those voices in the cigar industry that,
I don't take myself too serious.
Exactly. And it's, there's an irreverence that I think the cigar industry needs sometimes. And for us to sit around a cigar shop, all of us together, men, women, everybody, sit around a cigar shop, enjoy cigars together, swap stories together, talk about
That's
family,
what it's
talk
about.
about
Make
life.
fun of each other.
Make fun of each
good
other.
Stuff.
And we can tell the heartfelt stories, and we can tell the funny stories all at the same time. And you are an absolute pleasure to talk to and pleasure to have on our show, brother. So thank you so much for giving us some of your time.
You guys are the best anytime.
We appreciate it, brother. And we want to thank again, of course, all of our wonderful viewers and listeners of How About That Cigar Live. We thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We appreciate you guys spending time with us so much. Of course, be sure to click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, whatever it is you need to click on to make sure that you don't miss anything that we have coming up on How About That Cigar Live. And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, whether it's when you work out, when you drive down the road, whatever it is you do, when you listen to your favorite audio podcast, we appreciate it so much that you make us a part of it. If you have questions for any of us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. You will find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.